Night has fallen, and with it the quiet battles no one else sees. In the valley of your thoughts, in the shadows that whisper fear, in the places where enemies plot in silence, God now draws near. The darkness tries to speak loudly, but the shepherd walks through it with steps that shake every hidden attack. You may feel surrounded tonight, but heaven is closer than every enemy. The valley may look long, but God's light is already stretching across it, touching every place where your heart feels tired. Tonight, we stand together in the quiet, trusting the one who never sleeps, the one who fights when you cannot lift a sword. He sees your battles. He sees the traps set against you. He sees the things you don't have the strength to speak about. And he says, "Be still. I am here in the night. I am your defender." Tonight, you will feel him enter your valley. Tonight, the God of Psalm 20 will fight your battles in the dark. So breathe deeply. Let your shoulders release the weight. Let your heart slow down. Because before this night ends, God will take what was meant for your defeat and turn it into your victory. Subscribe to receive God's protection every night. Stay until the end. This prayer will shift the entire atmosphere around you. Tonight, your valley stretches before you like a quiet battlefield. The air is still, yet something unseen tries to press against your spirit. Shadows gather at the edges, whispering doubt into the silence. Fear tries to rise, reminding you of everything that went wrong. But even here, even now, God walks forward with steady steps. He surveys the darkness that tries to intimidate you, and he says, "You are not alone in this valley." You feel the weight of the day settling heavily on your shoulders. The battles you fought in silence still echo within your mind. Enemies, seen and unseen, attempt to steal your peace, but the shepherd steps beside you, grounding your heart. He silences every trembling thought with his presence. He knows the attacks formed against you in secret places, and he begins to break them one by one. The valley grows darker as you step deeper into prayer. It feels as though the night itself is watching you. But heaven watches too, and heaven watches stronger. God places his hand over your spirit like a shield. Nothing can cross the boundary he now establishes around you. Every enemy trembles at the glow beginning to rise, because God has entered your night. You may feel outnumbered, but you are never overpowered. The enemy counts your weaknesses, thinking they give him advantage. But he forgets that God counts your hairs and guards your steps. Your fear whispers, "This is too much." But God whispers louder, "This battle is mine." The atmosphere shifts as his authority fills the valley, and everything hidden begins to flee from his light. Tonight, the shepherd does not merely comfort you, he fights for you. He stands between you and every spiritual threat rising against you. The shadows recoil from his presence, dissolving like smoke. He uncovers every trap designed to make you stumble. He exposes every plan meant to weaken your heart. He confronts every enemy that dared approach your life, and he declares, "Touch not my beloved." Eddie, the wind changes direction as the battle begins in the unseen. You cannot see every form of darkness opposing you, but God sees, and God acts with decisive, unstoppable force. Every dart meant for your peace now falls powerless. Every voice of accusation is silenced mid-sentence. Every scheme collapses before it reaches your door. The night submits to the one who commands it. You take a breath, feeling both the weight and the wonder, because even in your valley, God remains sovereign. He walks through the darkest places without hesitation. For him, no enemy is too strong and no trap too hidden. Your tears are noticed, your exhaustion is understood. He sees where you feel weak, and he stands where you cannot. He becomes strength in the very place you felt defeated. Your valley is not quiet, it's spiritually active, but God does not fear the activity of the enemy. He steps into it with authority that cannot be challenged. He speaks a single word, and the atmosphere changes. He lifts his hand, and the enemy's footing collapses. He breathes peace, and the turmoil loses its voice. He positions himself as your defender in the dark. Fear tries to rise again, but God intercepts it instantly. His presence becomes a wall around your mind. Thoughts that once chased you now lose their power. Night terrors, anxieties, worries. He shuts them down. He stands guard over every vulnerable place in your soul. He protects your rest before sleep even comes near. You are covered even before you ask. The battlefield of the night is not a place to fear. It is where God shows the strength you forgot he carried. It is where heaven bends low and surrounds your home. It is where enemies discover your defender does not sleep. It is where God proves that darkness cannot swallow you. It is where your victory begins before morning arrives. It is where the shepherd draws his sword for you. The valley you walk through tonight is holy ground. Not because it is peaceful, but because he stands within it. Not because it is easy, but because he transforms it. Your enemies thought this night would weaken you, but God uses it to display his unstoppable protection. He marks this valley with his presence and his purpose, and he positions you for victory before dawn breaks. So here, in the quiet of the night, the battle begins. But this time, it begins with God stepping in first. He goes before you, beside you, and behind you. He confronts every darkness that dared rise against you. He declares that no weapon formed will prosper. He announces victory before the fight even reaches you. And he whispers, "I fight your battles in the dark." May the Lord answer you in the day of trouble. Tonight is that day. Tonight is that hour. And God bends close to hear the cry of your heart. Your trouble does not intimidate him. It draws him near. He answers not with delay, but with power and intention. He moves through the valley, responding to what weighs you down. Your prayer is heard, and heaven is already moving. May the name of the God of Jacob defend you. His name is not just a title, it is a fortress. It rises around you now like walls of glowing light. Where the enemy searched for an entry point, he finds none. Where fear tried to creep in, it is pushed back. God himself becomes your defense in the night. You are shielded by the name that never fails. May he send you help from the sanctuary. Help is not coming from earth tonight, it is coming from heaven. It flows like streams of golden light over your spirit. It strengthens you in places where exhaustion lived. It surrounds your home with divine reinforcement. God sends angels to stand guard on every side. You are not unprotected. Heaven is fully deployed. And strengthen you out of Zion. Strength rises within you even as the night deepens. Not human strength, heaven's strength. Not temporary courage, eternal confidence. Your spirit begins to lift like dawn, pushing against darkness. Every weak place is touched by his hand. You feel the weight begin to loosen its grip. May he remember all your offerings. God has seen every quiet sacrifice you made. Everything you gave when no one acknowledged it. Every act of kindness, every moment you chose faith. He remembers the seeds you planted in tears. Tonight he honors them with protection. Nothing you did for him has been forgotten. May he grant you according to your heart's desire. Even the desires you haven't spoken, he knows them. He hears the prayers buried beneath disappointment. He gathers every hidden longing into his hands, and he releases answers in ways only he can design. Your desires are safe with him. He responds with perfect timing and perfect care. We will rejoice in your salvation. Salvation is not just forgiveness, it is deliverance. It is rescue from what tried to suffocate your hope. It is God stepping into your night with unstoppable strength. He brings you out of every trap laid against you. He lifts your spirit into a place of security. You will rejoice because he does not fail. May the Lord fulfill all your petitions. Every prayer you've whispered tonight reaches his throne. Not one word is lost, ignored, or overlooked. He listens with the tenderness of a father. He responds with the authority of a king. Your petitions are held in divine hands, and he fulfills them with wisdom and love. Now I know that the Lord saves his anointed. You are chosen. You are set apart. God rescues those who belong to him. Even when enemies surround, he lifts you above them. Even when darkness threatens, he shines through it. Salvation is not a question, it is your inheritance. Tonight, he proves it again. Some trust in chariots and some in horses. People trust in many things: strength, status, power. But none of those can protect a soul at midnight. None of them can silence enemies in the unseen realm. None can guard your mind as God can. Your trust rests in the one who never falls, and that trust becomes your shield tonight. But we will remember the name of the Lord our God. His name is the lighthouse in your storm. It cuts through the darkness with authority. When fear rises, his name pushes it back. When attacks form, his name destroys them. You speak his name, and heaven responds. It is your weapon, your banner, your peace. The Lord gives victory to his king, and tonight he gives victory to you. Not because you fought perfectly, but because he fights for you. He takes the night and flips it into triumph. He turns every attack into ashes. He raises you above what tried to bring you low. Victory is already written over this night. The moment Psalm 20 is spoken, the unseen realm awakens. Heaven does not wait for morning. Heaven moves now. Angels begin to descend into your valley with purpose. Wings cut through the darkness like blades of holy fire. They form a circle of protection around your spirit. Every step they take shakes the ground beneath your enemies. Heaven has entered your battle. The shadows that once felt overwhelming begin to tremble. Darkness senses that it is outnumbered. What plotted against you now faces divine resistance. Forces that whispered fear retreat at the sight of heaven's light. Attacks formed in silence collapse under God's authority. The enemy realizes he miscalculated your covering. Heaven surrounds you on every side. Angels move like lightning through the valley. They carry swords forged in divine justice. Every strike dismantles a plan once aimed at your downfall. Every movement breaks chains that tried to bind your peace. Every command of God is carried out instantly. The battlefield becomes a place of holy reversal. Your enemies lose ground they once claimed. What the enemy built in darkness is exposed in seconds. Hidden traps rise to the surface and fall apart. Whispers of accusation are silenced mid-sentence. Plots designed to exhaust you are dismantled piece by piece. Spiritual forces that attacked your mind lose access. God closes every door they once slipped through. The atmosphere shifts into victory. You may not see it with your eyes, but your spirit feels it. A pressure lifts. A heaviness loosens. God is breaking things you didn't even know were hurting you. Chains fall that you thought were simply part of life. Attacks stop that you assumed were normal. Heaven is not passive, it is aggressive in its defense. God refuses to let you be overtaken. An angel stands at your right side, another at your left. Both glow with armor reflecting heaven's glory. They guard your steps, your thoughts, your rest. Not one enemy passes without being confronted. Not one darkness escapes without judgment. The valley becomes a courtroom where God rules in your favor. Every accusation dies under his decree. The enemy tries one last time to advance. He gathers what remains of his strength, but God rises higher, stronger, unshakable. His voice thunders across the valley, "Enough!" The darkness freezes, unable to move. Every weapon formed is rendered useless. Your victory becomes inevitable. Heaven's armies now push back the night itself. Light breaks forth, not loud, but unstoppable. It spreads like gold through the shadows, clearing the path. Enemies stumble as the ground shifts beneath them. Their power drains like water slipping through fingers. They scatter, unable to maintain their footing. The shepherd has taken command of your battlefield. What once hunted your peace is now hunted by heaven. Angels pursue every remaining threat. They silence enemy voices that tried to torment your mind. They remove spiritual debris left from old battles. They restore peace to the corners of your heart. Every intrusive thought is replaced with calm. Your spirit begins to breathe again. God steps into the center of the battlefield. His light is brighter than every attack combined. Where he stands, no enemy survives. Where he moves, the darkness flees instantly. His presence establishes a new order. Victory first, fear last. This is the God who fights for you in the night. This is the God who never loses. Your valley, once filled with shadows, now glows softly, not with the violence of war, but with the quiet aftermath of victory. God wipes away the last remnants of fear. Angels take their positions to guard you as you rest. Nothing can approach without passing through heaven's watch. Your night is secured by divine authority. Your spirit is wrapped in supernatural peace. The battle is still, but not because the enemy won. It is still because God has finished the fight. Heaven now stands over your home like a fortress. Angels form a warm perimeter around your sleep. Every threat is removed, every attack destroyed. You are safe, defended, covered in glory light. And heaven whispers, rest. The war is over. Now that the battle has been won, the valley grows quiet. The air softens, carrying a gentle hush across your spirit. No more threats, no more shadows pressing against your thoughts. God begins to settle peace over you like a warm blanket. His presence wraps around every corner of your soul. You feel the tension leave your body slowly, breath by breath. The night no longer feels heavy, it feels held. The shepherd steps closer, no longer fighting, now comforting. His hand rests upon your heart, steady and protective. He speaks calm into the places where fear once lived. He restores what the battle tried to drain. Your breathing slows as his peace takes over. He guards your emotions, your thoughts, your sleep. You are covered in divine gentleness. The enemies that tormented you have vanished, and in their place, God plants peace like seeds of light. Every seed begins to grow warmth inside you. Every seed replaces anxiety with assurance. Every seed reminds you that you belong to him. He tends to your spirit like a gardener of the night. He brings rest where turmoil once lived. The darkness around you is no longer threatening. It becomes a quiet canvas where God paints serenity. Soft golden light lingers in the air, warm and comforting. Angels stand at the borders, silent and strong. Nothing can cross into your rest without passing through glory. Your home becomes a sanctuary wrapped in divine presence. Peace fills the atmosphere like fragrance. You feel God breathe over you, not loudly, but tenderly. That breath restores the places that felt worn and tired. It fills the gaps where strength had leaked out during the day. It lifts every burden you carried into the night. It rewrites your thoughts with gentleness and truth. It tells your heart, you are safe now. You sink deeper into his stillness. Your mind begins to slow its racing patterns. Worries lose their ability to cling to you. The shepherd walks through your thoughts, calming each one. He untangles anxieties one by one. He sweeps away lingering concerns with quiet authority. He gives you mental rest, the rest you've longed for. He prepares you for peaceful sleep. Every corner of your room becomes touched by his peace. The shadows soften into gentle tones of blue and gold. You feel surrounded, but not by fear. Surrounded by comfort, surrounded by divine presence. Nothing feels chaotic anymore. Everything feels like it's being held together by God's hands. This is the peace that surpasses understanding. The shepherd draws near your spirit with a promise that tonight nothing will harm you, a promise that angels will stand guard while you sleep, a promise that not even a whisper of the enemy will reach you. a promise that your dreams will be protected, a promise that your heart will rest fully, a promise that He is still here, watching over you. He places a shield of peace around your home. Every door, every window, every room becomes covered. His light seals every opening of spiritual intrusion. Your home becomes unshakably secure. No disturbance, no nightmare, no anxiety can enter. Heaven stands as the gatekeeper of your night. You sleep under divine protection. Your spirit feels lighter than it has in a long time. The battle is over, and peace has settled like soft dust. You are not just defended, you are deeply comforted. God remains beside you, quiet but present. The night turns into a sanctuary under His watch. Every sound becomes softer, every breath deeper. You rest in the shadow of His wings. You no longer carry the fear of what can happen. God has already stepped ahead of the night. He has secured your tomorrow and covered your today. Nothing surprises Him, nothing is too heavy for Him. You relax, knowing He is in complete control. Your heart lets go of the final bit of tension. Peace flows like a river through your spirit, and now God speaks softly over your soul. Rest, beloved, the battle is mine, the night is mine, you are safe beneath my wings. Nothing will disturb the peace I've placed over you. Sleep deeply, sleep fully, sleep without fear. For I cover you with my presence, and your spirit settles into divine stillness. As your eyes grow heavy, heaven begins its gentle work. God does not rest simply because you do. He moves quietly through the spaces of your heart. He heals the wounds you carried silently today. He restores what fear tried to break. He strengthens what felt fragile or uncertain. He works while you sleep, perfectly, lovingly. Your breathing slows, and heaven leans closer. God whispers peace over the pathways of your mind. Memories that once brought anxiety now soften. Thoughts that spiraled now dissolve into calm. No enemy can enter the borders of your rest. God Himself guards the gates of your dreams. His presence becomes the atmosphere around you. An angel steps beside your bed, quiet and radiant. Another takes position at the door, silent and strong. They watch the room with unwavering attention. Nothing moves without heaven's permission. Nothing enters without God's approval. Your sleep becomes a protected sanctuary. You lie down under divine surveillance. As you drift deeper, God begins repairing your inner world. He mends places of disappointment you never voiced. He restores courage where fear had drained it. He untangles emotional knots tied by long seasons of stress. He breathes life into the dreams you thought were dead. He aligns your heart with peace, not pressure. This is holy restoration taking place while you rest. You may not hear His footsteps, but you feel His nearness. Peace becomes thicker, heavier, sweeter. Your body relaxes in ways it hasn't in weeks. Your spirit sinks deeper into rest than your mind can comprehend. God surrounds you with a softness that feels almost physical. It is the touch of a father who never leaves. It is the comfort of heaven settling over you. Your dreams are now covered with divine light. Nightmares cannot cross the boundary God has set. Fear cannot enter the sacred space of your sleep. Even your subconscious becomes guarded territory. Every dream becomes an invitation into peace. Every thought drifts like a feather carried by grace. You rest in perfect spiritual safety. Heaven begins rearranging what needs to shift in your life. Doors that were stuck begin loosening. Paths that were hidden begin to open. Opportunities begin forming in silence. Solutions begin aligning behind the scenes. God moves pieces you cannot see. Your tomorrow is being rebuilt while you sleep. His presence flows through you like warm, slow light. Relaxation sinks into your muscles deeper and deeper. Every breath feels like a release of old tension. Your heart moves into a rhythm of trust. Your spirit recognizes the nearness of its shepherd. God watches over you with tender delight. You sleep in a peace that comes only from Him. As the night deepens, heaven does not grow tired. God keeps working, weaving protection through every hour. Angels continue their watch with unwavering devotion. No darkness dares approach the glow around your resting place. Your home becomes a refuge of light in the night. Nothing harmful passes near your dwelling. You sleep under divine command. God restores your strength cell by cell, breath by breath. He lifts mental fog, emotional exhaustion, spiritual weight. He pours new energy into tomorrow's version of you. He renews your hope like dawn rising inside your soul. Your spirit heals even while your eyes remain closed. Nothing about this rest is ordinary. It is divinely engineered. You drift deeper, held in perfect stillness. Every part of your being rests under God's wing. There is no rush, no pressure, no fear. Only the steady warmth of His presence around you. He guards your night with more care than you can imagine. He fights for you even in your sleep. You are wrapped in heaven's protective embrace. And as you rest, God whispers promises into your spirit. I am working while you sleep. I am making a way where you see none. I am healing what you thought was permanent. I am fighting battles you don't even know exist. Rest, beloved. Your night is in my hands, and your victory is already on its way. Morning begins long before the sun rises. It starts in the invisible places where God works through the night. As the darkness softens, you feel a shift inside your spirit. Not loud, not sudden, just a gentle lifting. The weight that followed you into the night is gone. What once pressed on your chest now feels light as air. Victory begins in the quiet, and God is already revealing it. The shadows retreat as dawn approaches, not because they chose to leave, but because God commanded them to. Every enemy that surrounded you in the dark has lost access. Every attack that formed against you has collapsed. You wake not into chaos, but into divine order. God has already gone ahead of your morning. Your steps are guided by His victory. You take your first deep breath of the new day. It doesn't feel like just another morning, it feels restored. Strength rises in places that felt depleted yesterday. Hope awakens where heaviness once settled. Peace stretches across your heart like sunlight on open fields. You realize God has changed something inside you. The night worked for your good. As light touches the horizon, heaven makes a declaration. The battle fought in the dark is officially won. Every spiritual threat has been silenced. Every chain has been broken. Every fear has been dismissed. You enter this day as someone defended by God Himself. Your morning carries the fingerprints of victory. You open your eyes to a world made new. Problems may still exist, but they no longer own your spirit. Attacks may have been formed, but they cannot prosper. You walk into this day under divine protection. Grace goes before you, mercy follows behind you. God surrounds you like a shield. This is a morning covered in purpose. The things that once intimidated you now seem small. The voices that once overwhelmed you are silent. The burdens that once weighed you down have loosened their grip. God has shifted your posture from weary to steady. He has crowned you with quiet strength. He has filled you with holy courage. You face today not alone, but empowered. As the morning brightens, heaven continues to move. Doors open that were stuck for months. Favor rises in places where you felt invisible. Opportunities align that you couldn't have created yourself. God orchestrates conversations, connections, and breakthroughs. He turns what seemed impossible into the next chapter of your story. Your morning becomes a stage for miracles. The peace you received in the night now becomes your foundation. It steadies your thoughts and strengthens your heart. You move through the day without fear of collapse. You walk as someone protected, chosen, and remembered. Your steps are guided by the God who stayed with you all night. Nothing catches Him off guard. Nothing surprises His plans. You live in the confidence of His covering. You look back at the valley behind you. What once frightened you now looks defeated. The darkness that tried to swallow you has been pushed away. The enemies that rose against you now stand powerless. You survived the night because God fought for you. You rise this morning because God sustains you. Your story carries the evidence of His faithfulness. The morning light touches your spirit like a gentle blessing. Every ray feels like a reminder of God's nearness. Every moment feels infused with purpose. Every step feels lighter, freer, stronger. Heaven whispers over your day, "Go forward, I am with you." Nothing can stand against a day held in God's hands. This is not just sunrise, it is breakthrough. The victory you received in the night follows you into the morning. It covers your home, your mind, your relationships. It shields your emotions from sudden storms. It guards your heart against old patterns of fear. It directs your path with renewed clarity. You don't just wake, you rise. You rise as someone strengthened by God, and God speaks softly over your new day. The night is over. The battle is won. I have turned darkness into victory for you. Walk forward without fear. Everything ahead has been prepared with love. My presence goes before you in power. This day will carry my blessing. The night has bowed to the presence of God. The battles fought in silence have been won in the unseen. Your valley has shifted from a place of fear into a place of victory. And now, as you prepare to rest, heaven stands guard around your home. God surrounds your bed with a shield of peace. Angels take their positions at every doorway. No darkness, no attack, no whisper of fear can come near you. The Lord Himself watches over your dreams. May your sleep be deep, sweet, and undisturbed. May your spirit rest in the certainty that God is closer than breath. May your mind release every burden into His hands. May His peace flow over you like warm light. Tonight you are protected. Tonight you are covered. Tonight you sleep under the wings of the Almighty. And when morning comes, you will rise renewed, strengthened, restored, and victorious. For the God who fights in the dark also blesses in the dawn. Subscribe so we can pray together every night. May God keep you, protect you, and cover your home in His perfect peace.